Hello, this is George Senda, the guy from Pittsburgh. And before I do my George Noory review of his book, Night Talk, I've got to say some things. Two travelers from Bellgab, or should I say trolls, one named Time Traveler and one named Anon, have taken to attacking me on Amazon.com. Now, luckily, Amazon.com has more integrity in its little finger than MV and Trollgab, Swillgab, Sewergab, the former George Noory sex site, now called Bellgab, would ever have. And my integrity and George's integrity and my girlfriend Kathy's integrity have been impugned and implied that I would not leave an objective review of the book on this site because George dared to send me a copy of a book that I asked for when he announced the book coming out months before I ever even heard of doing a video for Coast to Coast AM. And I want to show you something. This book, George Noory's Late Night Snacks, I reviewed and raked over the coals when it came up. I bought this with my money, not George Noory's, not Premier's, not iHeartRadio's. My money. Now, George has given me copies of his books. I'll freely admit that. This, I don't think I've reviewed this for Amazon. I should. Autographed copy. But there's an implication here and a lie. You see, I read a lot of books, and George's book is a thriller. There's 3 of my mystery books. Got a lot more. And the first lie was on Bellgab, that this book that George sent me, that was asked for months before I was ever on Coast to Coast AM, other than a caller, was not stained by strawberries. And there it is. And I was very upset because this happened to be an autographed book. And I finished the book. But I put it in a bag that I didn't fully check because I didn't think anything was in there. And a strawberry got in there. It not only stained that book, it slightly stained this one. And let's see, and it definitely stained Henry Paulson's book, On the Brink, which I'm about halfway through. Good book, by the way, on the financial system almost collapsing in 2008 under George Bush. And Bush did everything he could to help stop that collapse. And he gets blamed for the economy. Tells it all in that book. If you want to read about what really happened, read that book. But these two posters have posted things about lawsuits, a restraining order against me that my girlfriend got when we lived together. And the only reason she did it is we were fighting a lot. She didn't want me living with her. I got evicted for the same reason she did. Remodeling. And I had nowhere to go. I didn't want to go to my mother because I would have had to push a ration of crap my mother. Oh, yeah, and these trolls on Bellgab have attacked both my parents. They've said I killed my parents, which is ridiculous. I watched my mother die for 9 days. We had issues over 60-some years. But watching her die by inch and degree by degree was one of the most horrible things I've ever seen. And I felt powerless. There was nothing I could do to stop it. My mother could be cruel and mean to me, but she also deep down cared for me. She told her doctor when she was dying, I wasn't there, that I was a good son, but she never said it to my face. That hurt a lot. But I was there every day for 9 days. I wasn't there the day she died. I had to go home because I was exhausted. And when she died, her housekeeper had embezzled thousands from my mother's bank accounts, and we got a car because of it. And they've even said I've signed some kind of unsecured, no-interest loan that I haven't paid back. The only loans I've ever not paid back are loans to friends, and they're not pressing me for it because they know the financial situation Kathy and I have been in since my mother's death, since Kathy's eviction, since our car dying. These are longtime friends of 30 years or more. And one of them has said, don't worry about paying me back. Get your financial affairs in order. That's more important. Get your life in order. I've had trolls show up at my doorstep, take pictures of my apartment, take pictures of a door at Starbucks and saying, I was there, where were you? Threaten to steal my beloved orange cat that I feed and to kill my cats and say that I've killed cats, which is ridiculous. I'm tired of this. Now, this book, that is ruined, but I'll still put it on my shelf. I'm done with it, but I'm very upset that it got stained by one damn strawberry, and it was autographed. Well, it's going on the shelf right now. I'm going to take that back. I got to show a picture of it. I bought another copy yesterday on Amazon with my money, not with George's. And that's on its way. And it cost me $15. And to prove it, I sent the email from Amazon to Open Lines Jerry, Justin, my form administrator, 6-week tenure, and Area 51 drone, all people who are or are formerly on Bellgab. And I want to thank Jerry for sending the picture of this to Bellgab when some idiot over there said, oh, I don't believe the book was stained with a strawberry. I don't lie about what I do. And the troll Aaron Oldfield, Mr. Spock, C-337 pilot, and his multiple emails and handles sent me a link to Bellgab, which I said, you asked me not to send you emails, and yet you send me filth from Bellgab. Don't do it. So, and I said, anything you send me will be deleted unread. Stop sending me emails, troll. And this is the guy that a year ago or so, I still have the email, and I haven't sent that to Jerry. It's in my mail account, saying he wanted to interview me. And he started at $200, went to $1,000, and then started screaming at me in emails and on the phone how I was a welfare cheat, a tax cheat, a Medi-Cal fraud, a disability fraud, and everything else. This is the same canard I heard on SF Redbook for years. And I'm tired of it. I have 2 partially paralyzed feet, a bad knee, 2 crushed discs in my spine that press on the sciatic nerve. I'm in pain every day. My hands hurt from arthritis and from walking with a cane. And there's days I don't get out of bed. They've even said I have bed sores, which is also ridiculous. Every medical malady I have has been documented by numerous doctors, including my current one. I don't want to go back to work. I like doing what I'm doing. I'm 64 years old at the time when most people used to retire. I cannot work. I'm too physically messed up. I have recurring sinus infections. I'm allergic to grass. I have arthritis, I have COPD, and asthma. They don't believe it. Oh, you look fine, Folky. Well, they don't realize the days when I'm not in front of the screen, I'm lying in bed, moaning in pain, or with sharp stabbing pains going up and down my legs and in my feet, I'm screaming. And if you don't believe me, you could ask Area 51 drone. You could ask 6-week tenure who have talked to me on Skype or Hangouts. You could ask military justice who got thrown off of Bellgab for no crime other than being associated with me. And by the way, speaking of MV, his crappy laptop, the crap top, well, I found a video of the Expendables 2 someone left by the recycling bin. It was a copy, so I grabbed it and said, I wonder what this is. So I tried to play it in MD's crap top. It wouldn't play. Played for a little while, and then the sound cut out, and then the thing froze up, which means his DVD player didn't work, so he sold me a laptop with a crappy DVD player. And I put the Bridge Remagen in there, a DVD I know works, and the same thing happened. And these people have also posted things. I bought toys I don't need. Well, you know, these are the same trolls that would send me emails. Hey, Falky, when are you going to get another video out? We're waiting for the video. So on the one hand, they want to see my videos. And on the other hand, they hate me. And they hate me for being associated with George Noory. They hate George Noory because he's not Art Bell. And if it had been some other host, Ian Punnett, or John B. Wells, or Lisa Garr, or Lyons, or whatever her name is, I can never remember her name, or Dave Schrader, or even George Knapp, they would have hated him too, or her too, because he wasn't Art Bell. Their hatred is irrational. It's stupid. I've talked to Noory on the phone. I've met Noory. I've gone to events with Noory. And these are the same liars who, when my glasses were broken, not these, said that George Noory would not pay for my glasses. I proved them wrong. They said there would be no George Noory interview. I proved them wrong. They said I never do videos outside of my apartment. And I did a video listing 23 or 24 or 25, I don't remember the exact number, places I've done videos, including Walnut Creek, Pleasant Hill, on the way to Sacramento, on the freeway way to Sacramento, the San Francisco Bay Bridge, San Francisco, San Mateo, Santa Cruz, West Sacramento, Sacramento, and countless more. Every time they come up with a lie, I manage to refute it, but I shouldn't have to constantly explain myself. I don't lie. And my girlfriend doesn't lie. And they're going on and on about a robbery that didn't happen when it did. I haven't seen Kathy physically except for 2 or 3 times since she moved in February. I miss my girlfriend. We're saving up for a car. And I'll tell you another thing. For me to spend money on a book or anything is a lot. After we pay the rent, both of us, we're both left with about $600 some a month. That has to pay all our bills. And we got to eat. And I feed the cats. I have bought a couple of hundred items on Amazon. Close to 200. I've bought thousands on eBay over the last however many years it is. And I've reviewed a lot of them. And the only reason I've reviewed all of them is I haven't had the time. And right now, sitting here, and there's some up there too, without turning around, I haven't reviewed all of George Noory's books. I haven't read them all. I did this one on my videos. And based on the information it was, and he gave explanations, co-written with Richard Belzer, there are 9 possible conclusions to what could have happened to this plane. And we've got new information that probably the pilot went and crashed it and killed everybody on board. For whatever insane reason, we don't know. But I do these videos for my subscribers. I don't do them for Bellgab. I don't do them for trolls. I don't do them for haters. And when I do a news event video like San Diego, Nice, Houston, I'm trying to remember, Baton Rouge, or wherever, it's a breaking news story. Or ISIS in Germany, attacks on a train, attacks in a shopping mall in Munich, attacks in a theater. It's to tell people what's going on, because these things frequently go on in the middle of the night while people are sleeping. And I spend hours looking up subsequent news stories, videos, links, live radio links, live TV links, and put them in the description of the following videos so people don't have to search for them. And people appreciate it. So I'm tired of these trolls. They followed me from SF Redbook. They followed me on the Bellgab, and now they follow me on to Amazon. They even complain when Kathy and I have gone to churches because we've run out of money for food and saying we're not hungry. Well, I tell them this, but when I go to churches and we're out of food, I'm hungry. I've lost a lot of weight. I'm cutting down on, I don't have a stick of bread in here other than some mini pizzas and some blueberry English muffins. I'm trying to wean myself off bread because it helps you, it makes you gain weight. But it isn't easy to stop eating bread when you've been eating it every day for 60-some years. All right. I've said all I'm going to say. Amazon has removed their posts because they're not germane to a book review. And I wouldn't do a review of George Noory's book just because he's sending me a book. These people are stupid. You know, publishers send review copies out to people. How the hell do you think Larry Bond, a major techno thriller writer, I've read a lot of his books. Night Talk rotates the illusory world of the late night talk radio into another dimension, taking us along that reminds us how closely the real world is following the same path. Well, they sent him a copy of the book to review it. David Black, 3 Edgar nominees. Emmy and Writers Guild nominations. William Martin, author of the Lincoln Letter. On the back of the book, they had to read this book to give a liner note. But no one impugns their integrity. I've gotten all of one, count it, one check from the network. And somebody dared to ask, have I paid taxes on it? You can't pay taxes on the $100. I've done 4 videos now, but I've gotten one check. The appropriate documents have been submitted to the network, and when I make enough taxable income, that will be submitted to the appropriate authorities. So, I shouldn't have to explain myself to anonymous trolls who would never say the stuff they do to my face or George Noory or Tom Danheiser, who would probably bodily throw him out of the studio. I'm not saying he would. I'm just guessing. He's very protective of George and George's reputation. And so am I, because he's a friend. But this book is $25.99 list price. I got my new copy, brand new copy, for $15. So, we have a book here about a talk show host who talks about the paranormal and conspiracies, who has callers who talk to him about the paranormal and conspiracies. And this is of the genre of the man accused of crime he didn't commit. And he's on the run for his freedom and his life. As a work of first-time fiction, I thought it was pretty good. Now, I personally have the problem in that I have read dozens of mysteries. John D. MacDonald, The Saint, Robert B. Parker. Come to think of it, more like hundreds of mysteries in the last 30 years. Going all the way back to S.S. Van Dyne from 1930. Sax Rohmer's Fu Manchu books, and many more. The Toff, Agatha Christie, Sherlock Holmes, Dashiell Hammett, Ross MacDonald. So after a while, any plot element or device is not new. I had a little trouble with this book because it jumps around quite a bit. I was able to telegraph some of the things in here. I knew what was going to happen 1 minute. I had a pretty good idea. But as a book and as a good read, it's okay. I liked it. If it had sucked, I would have said it sucked. It doesn't suck. In fact, I even wrote Noory, and I wrote the other people I mentioned. I'd like to see a sequel. There are some loose ends that I'd like to see attended to in the next book. And it's reminiscent in some ways of the television show The Fugitive. Except that the guy chasing him, well, I'm not going to ruin it for you. So, there are 36 movies, by the way, with the same plot. Man on the run, accused of a murder he didn't commit. So it's not a new plot device. But as something to read, and I read 28 chapters on the bus going to and from shopping or wherever I was going that day, it's a good book. It's worth reading as a book. Now, others disagree with me, but I would have said that if I wasn't associated with George Noory. Just like I've said it about books by Art Bell, all of which I have on my shelf, including The Art of Talk. If I were to review every one of my paranormal books alone, I could do one review for 450 days and do nothing but do video reviews. And as I've shown you, I get new books all the time. I'm getting them from the library for $1 or $2. And I read half of the Paulson book yesterday on the bus. Let's see, where am I in this? Then I'm done. Chapter 13. I read 13 chapters. That's 300 pages. And you take out the index and the acronyms. It's 453 pages, so I'm about 2/3 done with the book. But this is very involved with financial things about Lehman Brothers, Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, Citibank, the British equivalent of the Treasury, our Treasury Secretary, who was Paulson, our Fed Chairman, Bernanke, and Timothy Geithner's in there, and Obama, and McCain, and George Bush. And it's heavy reading. It's not something light to be read in an hour. Trolls can say anything they want. That's why they're trolls. And what the hell's on my shirt? Oh, thread. So that doesn't mean it's true. They say it because they wouldn't dare say it if they were exposed to the light of truth and justice, to the light of freedom. They are anti-freedom. They are anti-truth. And they are trolls who have nothing better to do but to make themselves feel self-important. So, take a chance in this book. Forget whether you like George Noory as a broadcaster or not. Read the book on its own merits. I liked it. Oh, one other thing I forgot. There are things in this book that show you. Let's see, this takes me a minute because they're scattered through here. Of course, invariably when I look at a book to find something, I can't find it. Where are they? It's a problem with fiction. Well, he's got the insignia for some of these things. He's got a fact here from the Washington Post. 1,271 government organizations and 1,931 private companies work on programs related to counterterrorism, homeland security, and intelligence in about 10,000 locations around the U.S. Then he talks about the Valentin plane disappearance in Australia, Benny and Barney Hill, and even has, and I can't find it, I know it's in here, the insignia of the organizations that spy on us. There we go. I knew I'd find it. The NRO and the Information Awareness Office. These guys spy on us every day with cameras and emails and phone calls and God knows what else. If you're paranoid about people spying on you, you don't want to read this book. He'll make you more paranoid. All right, this is George Senda. Long review, but something that was necessary. The trolls will never stop this sort of thing. They have no honor, they have no integrity, and they have no decency. And I'll do the next video in a little bit. I'm going to go home all day, and so I've got lots of time in my hands today to do things. I'm going to get caught up on household tasks. Have a great day, and be safe out there. Bye-bye.